Okay, so now it's time to stitch it up. I've decided on these pages the order that I want them, so you make sure they're where you want them to be, and they're all facing right side up. They're in there exactly the way you want them to be. So if you have little pieces like that, make sure they're, you know, wherever you want. I think I'm gonna put that one at the bottom. I think I'll put that one closer to the center. And then this fabric, it's a little awkward, but just place it roughly in the center is how I want it. And then this piece of paper in the center. And then the envelope, I like to stitch it inside and then I glue it after it's done. So I check it, make sure that envelope's in the right place. And then it's easier if you secure it, so you can use clippies like this, or you can use paper clips, or even bobby pins or something. Just something to secure it down. So it doesn't move on you very much. Oops. Okay, and I like to use a phone book. These, can't believe they still make them. But any kind of big book that you don't mind damaging, possibly. Because basically it's just going to help us make the holes down in the crease, because I'm going to show you the hand sewing method. If you don't want to use this method, you can totally glue it. You could. If you want to glue it, I would take it all apart and page by page do a fine line of glue and add the next page, fine line of glue, add the next page, and just stack it that way, and then fold it and clip it and then let it dry. So you could totally do that, and if you want to use a stapler, you could totally use a stapler. That would be super fast, super easy. I don't have a stapler that opens up that I can do that. I should probably get one. That would save me time on some of my journals. That would be awesome when I just want to do something quick. I don't mind sewing it. It doesn't take me very long, so I don't mind it. You will want something to sew with, so dental floss works really well too. I made some journals for my kids at Christmas, and I used dental floss to sew my son's. It worked really well. I've used that in doll making as well when I make a head. Super strong nylon is what it is, so if you don't have any thread at home, use that dental floss. That works really great. I'm using crochet thread, and I'm using a big needle. You need something that's pretty hefty. It has glue all over it, and so do I. I have glue all over me. But you need something that'll go through all those papers. I'm actually going to see if I can get it to go through without using on all. Let me see. Yeah, I think I can. If you don't have a big needle, or you don't want to use a big needle, yes, what do you need? Chocolate chip cookies? Yeah, I was going to make some. Huh?
I wanted to use some for my ice cream.
Oh, yeah, you can use a little bit. Just not use very much. Okay, so I have an awl that I like to use to make the holes. And with this particular journal, you don't have to measure. I mean, if you want to measure and make one in the center and then two, you know, a certain length apart, you could. I'm not too worried about this journal. If it's just one journal, you're not sewing it into a book and you don't need them to match, it doesn't really matter. So make it easy on yourself and don't measure. But what I do is I put it down in the fold of the yellow pages, and uh-oh, the envelope keeps moving on me, which I was afraid it was going to do that. There, that should help. And I'm going to do one roughly in the center, so you can use the, let's see if I can use this needle. I like to fold it up so the crease is down in there. Hopefully you can see this. I just go roughly in the middle. And make a hole. There you go. So there's the first one. And then I want to do one roughly about an inch from the bottom. This is usually what I do with a journal like this. I usually go, or a little bit lower, but I want to catch this envelope. So I'm going to go a little bit further up than I normally do so I can get this envelope. Okay, and then the last one, I'm going to do the same thing, just about an inch. I'm going to push it on the table because it was hurting my fingers. Actually, having a thimble would help, wouldn't it? Okay, I'm going to put this all away, but so anything pokey. You've also, I've used an ice pick before. That works too. Okay, so whatever you're going to sew with, I like to use about 3 times the height of the book. So 1, 2, 3, and that gives me plenty of wiggle room and plenty of tie room. So this is totally optional too, but you could get a candle if you don't have, I keep beeswax on hand because I use it for sewing all the time, but I like to lightly wax my thread. It makes it a little easier to go through all that paper. It also strengthens it a little bit, but you could just get a candle. If you have a candle at your house, that would work well too, or don't worry about it. It's definitely not, you know, necessary. It's just my preference. Okay, I had to thread that needle and I had to look at it. Okay, so we have 3 holes we're going to sew through, and we're going to go through the middle one first from the inside. And we're just going to go through that hole that we've already made. Actually, we don't need this phone book anymore. We're going to come to the outside. I'm going to pull it and leave a tail. I like to leave a nice big tail. And you can go either hole, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna go up. Sometimes you kind of have to finagle your way. And I'm at an awkward angle, so let me, hold on one sec. Okay, sorry about that. Anyway, I just came up through that hole and I had to finagle it through that envelope. Okay, and I just give the little inside one a tug a little bit too, and just make sure I've got it snug. It doesn't have to be tight, just snug. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to skip the hole that I came, my original hole, the middle, and I'm going to skip all the way down to this one on the other end. I'm going to go through the hole. Okay. And pull it snugly. Go back into the original middle hole from the outside. Careful not to, try not to, sometimes you'll catch either this thread or the original one and split it. You don't want to do that because that'll make the thread weak there and it could break. Especially if you fill your journal up with lots of heavy stuff. Definitely want it to be sturdy. Okay, so we don't need the needle anymore, so I take it off. Because I tend to poke myself frequently with those things. Alright, so here's the original one, and here's what I just came through with. And you just want to pull it gently but firmly. Enough that you know you're pulling that snug on the outside, but not enough to break your thread. And then you're just going to do a square knot. that's it. Do one more for good measure. How about we do that? I leave a little bit of a tail. Journal is sewn together. And now I can glue my envelope. So I'm going to use the tacky glue because I left these flaps like this to create a gusset, which actually I forgot to do something. I just now noticed. Oops. I need to, and I'm going to do this very carefully so I don't snip the thread. Okay, so I need to have a little bit of give there. Okay. Because I want that to be able to move, if that makes any sense. Like, so when I glue this together, I want there to be movement. You see that? Right there. So if I want to put something kind of chunky in there, I can. That might be a mistake. You may not want to do what I'm doing, but in the past, with some envelopes, I feel like I can't get enough stuff in there. So and so an envelope like this in the center is where I'll keep like stuff that I may want to add to the journal later, and I'm not ready to glue it in yet, or whatever, or I don't know what to do with it yet, or I may just never want to glue it in. It may be something I don't ever want to permanently attach anywhere. I just want to be able to take it in and out, you know. So I think I have a little too much glue there. Ew, goodness. Why do I do that? You know, I need to get one of those fine tip glue hickey things. Those bottles that you can put your glue in to make it, you know, fine tip. I need that for this, for my tacky glue. Because the tacky glue, if y'all ever use it, you know what I'm talking about. I love this one, but it is so hard to squeeze. My hands get tired, and it's really thick and goopy. It works great, but it can be hard to use and hard on your hands, especially if your hands hurt, which mine do a lot because I sew a lot, and so they'll be sore from pricking myself or just from using them. I'm also on the computer a lot, typing. Okay, so there's my little gusset thing. Well, it's not really a gusset thing, is it? What did I do wrong, y'all? I did something wrong. What did I do wrong? Oh, I needed like a center gusset thing, didn't I? I needed to fold it twice. Oh, heck. Well, see? You get to see what happens when I'm just doing it on the fly and not thinking too hard about it. Well, there you go. So if you want to gusset, don't do this. Okay? Don't do it. So perfection is never my, well, I'm a recovering perfectionist, so one thing I like about these junk journals is that it forces me to, or at least for me, I mean, I don't know if it does for you, but for me it forces me to just not worry about it, and so I don't. And I kind of go to the other extreme, and I try not to think too hard about anything I do, so then I do stupid stuff like this. Oh well, that's okay. I need to let that dry and not close it. It'll work. It'll work for what I need. It's for me, and it doesn't matter. So if you want an envelope in the middle of yours, you might want to think ahead of time what kind of envelope you want and not do the one I did. Okay, I'm done. Done. Make sure there's not glue there. Just need to let that dry. But I didn't do a lot of decoration. Sorry, I keep hitting the camera, or the table, I mean. I didn't do a lot of decoration because I want to do that as I work in it. So I just did things in there, I don't know, stuff that I knew for sure I wanted. This pocket, like this pocket, I knew I wanted this pocket. So I made this little fabric pocket to go in the front. And then I did this pretty lady from a book, and I just backed it with an old index card just to strengthen it a little bit, and also mainly to give it some stability. And then here's where I hand sewed that tuck spot. Let's see. Let's see, I have some other stuff I can put in here. Where is it? I gathered together my stuff. Where is it? Well, oh well, I'll find it later. Anyway, so yeah, it works, doesn't it? And I just did a back stitch here with that thread, and I glued it, the knot where I started it, and I glued the knot at the end just to stabilize it, since paper, when you sew on paper it works, but it's not the same as fabric, because sometimes with fabric the thread, even though you didn't knot it securely, sometimes it'll even stay because of the nature of fabric, but paper is not that way. It'll definitely work its way out of paper. So if you do that, I would recommend, if you hand sew, that you glue your beginning and end, just a little dab. So again, I didn't do anything here. I added my tea bag there, and the little painted flowers I stuck there. I don't know, I'll probably put this on some of my journaling pages or something, so I just stuck it in here for now. There's my fabric. So I need to get my embroidery floss. See, so what I'll do is, okay, hold on, let me grab my, okay, so so I had to finish this the next day, so I have to think back where I was. Okay, so what I did was, after I sewed this all together, my envelope turned out kind of wonky, right? But I wanted to go get some thread and embroidery floss to just stick in here, so I always have it there in case whenever I get the urge while I'm in this journal, if I wanted to embroider a couple little things. And so I did last night. I did a few little seed stitches and a little heart, and I don't know, it just makes me happy because, you know, this isn't a project, so that means I can just play and have fun, and that's what I like about it. So one other thing I wanted to show you about this journal is that, you know, you don't have to close your envelope unless you want to. Some people like to cut a slit with an X-Acto knife, you know, and they put a little something under here, like a little piece, you could even put a little piece of cardstock, and lightly go down with your blade to make a little slot and stick it in, which is awesome. What I like to do is, you can use some just duct tape, you know, just plain old duct tape, which you can get in all different colors nowadays. Not duct tape. What am I saying? This is Duck Brand, but it's you don't want to use duct tape. Okay, scratch that. You want to use masking tape, because, you know, masking tape can stick and unstick. And I like to just cut it like in a little shape, you know, not just tear it, but you could stick it on there like that. And then you've got this little, you know, closure. And see how easily that'll come off. So if you change your mind or whatever, that's what it doesn't tear up your paper. You could also, if you have some washi, you could use washi tape, which I think I'm going to use. I don't know, I haven't used this one before. It has little butterflies on it. I really like it. I don't know, either one looks great. I like both of them. I kind of wish I had a pink one. I didn't have any pink washi for some reason that I liked with that one. Anyway, it just is a really great little closure. Or this is not necessarily something you have in your house, but it's inexpensive. I love these things, these little clear, thin clear fasteners. Have y'all ever used them? Oh my goodness, they're fab. These are super tiny. They're 3/8 of an inch. I'll show you how thin they are. Let's see if the camera will pick this up. Actually, this will show it better. Let's see if I can get this to focus. See how thin they are? They're like super duper thin and small. And so on bigger journals, a lot of times I like to use these. to close envelopes or magnets or whatever. I mean, whatever you do, just do it. Don't do what I frequently do and I try to not do, is like can't decide, so I do nothing. Because things can always be undone, you know? So if you put tape there and then decide later, oh, I don't like tape, I don't like that color tape, I can use a different color tape. Or if you're at the store and you see those, you know, Velcro things and you want to buy those, do those. Or don't worry about it. Do nothing. Okay, so it's done. Done, 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 done. As done as I'm going to get it anyway. There's a lot of other stuff I actually want to use, so I think I'm going to do a full-size journal too with kind of a similar theme. This one, like I said, is a kind of a traveler style where it'll go into this notebook and held in place with elastic. So I wasn't concerned about a heavy-duty cover, so this is just kind of a lightweight cover with that resume cotton paper that I talked about before. And then I'll add stuff as I use it. I'll just keep adding stuff. I might add some more pockets. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do, actually. I never know till I start doing. And if I plan ahead, I usually change the plan, so I figure, you know, what's the point of planning when I always change the plan? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe you're not like that. I am. So planning, I just love this piece of art. That baby's the back of her head. Oh, so sweet. Anywho, this is it. And I'm going to stick it, oh, did you want to see the last thing? It's just, you know, the other side of that folded paper and that pretty calendar page. And it's just going to go right in here. I already have a little thing here that I have attached to my folder. I'm going to just find the center. I'm going to slip it right in here. And it's going to go in my journal. So this is easy to do for someone else. If they have a traveler's notebook that you know that they use, you could make them a little insert, or you could make it as a standalone. You know, use a little heavier cardstock as the cover, and it just stands on its own. Anyway, I hope you found this helpful, and I'll see y'all soon. Y'all take care. Bye.